Hello.
Hi, I've missed you.
I've missed you. I can't believe that okay, to be fair to our two listeners, we have recorded
Hmm.
a few episodes since the last one aired back in I don't know, March, April, who knows? Who knows?
That's your lane.
Yes, it's my fault because I did not edit nor post them. My bad.
Thanks to our two listeners. Or
Yes.
sorry, our apologies.
We love you. New year, new us. I think this is the perfect opportunity to do a little 2025, no, 2024 recap.
Yes.
Because
To be fair, probably same us, but we're trying to get more organized podcast wise.
yes.
Yeah.
Well, and there's so much stuff has happened. So basically, we went on a little summer hiatus. I think as any working parents can probably relate, you're end of the school year, you have got kids like preteen kids that are just like, you need to organize camps, you need to organize end of school gifts and promotions, ceremonies, and exchanging information with your kids, friends, parents, and vacations. All kinds of things are happening.
I mean, I didn't do almost any of those things. B did have to go to nationals though. So,
girl, you did all of those things. B went to nationals,
she
which
did
was out of
have
state.
she had her bridging ceremony. Yeah,
Yep.
she did do that.
She went to a camp, an overnight camp that you always sent her to. Okay.
Yeah. Yeah. It just was like, oh, you talk to other parents? That's a hard pass for me.
Well, at a certain age, you kind of, and I think, we're phasing out. B is a year ahead in school than my kids. So,
And she's gone to the same school for a really long time now.
yeah.
So I know all of the parents in passing. So that's a thing.
Yeah. Yeah, exactly. Like you're golden. But so much has happened. I think one of the big things that happened, if we're going in chronological order, one of the big things that happened for me was that I got into like this rabbit hole of like fantasy book series.
Yes, come to the dark side.
And that basically consumed me for a number of like months over the summer.
And I loved it.
That was a wild time for me because if you recall, I have a rule that I don't like to read books of series that are not yet complete. And what TF did I do?
Yeah. You did two of them.
I did several of them. I did.
Yeah. Like all of Sarah J. Maas's.
Yes. First, I started off with Fourth Wing.
Yes, which are incredible, and they are not even close to done.
No,
it's not even close. Yeah.
Not even close.
The third one is about to come out now. You're welcome.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. So I think that I like Googled it and it was like the third book is coming out.
And you thought it was a trilogy.
Yeah, so I thought it was a trilogy. I thought that the third one was like already released or whatever because I lack reading comprehension. I just see that there's like a picture of 3
lack
books.
Reading comprehension. You got bored like a third of the way through a sentence and was like, I don't need to read the rest of that.
Okay. It's like you're inside my brain.
You were like, nah, it's not for me.
Yeah. Finishing the sentence.
Other people.
Yes. Looking back, that one was like the best and the worst like fantasy intro book series because they are the best written, in my opinion, of the other.
Because she's a real grown-up. Like she was a real grown-up when she started writing them. And so you didn't have to like, this is not like, I love Sarah J. Maas, but a few of the books she wrote when she was very young. So you're like, girl.
Yeah.
Yeah, so you have to like kind of get through them and like no, like I love them. Like I've reread all of them, several times. So like no judgment, but like the first ACOTAR book, like I'm like, okay, I can tell you were 19 when you wrote this. And again, no judgment, like good for her. Like it's still very well written considering she was 19 when she wrote it, but like it was clearly she was 19 writing about love when she was 19.
Right.
And I'm like, bitch, please.
Yeah. The way that if I had read that book when I was also 19, I would have lapped that shit up.
Oh my God, it's the best thing ever. But I am 30 something.
Yes, exactly. Yeah.
I am like Farrah.
Like, girl. And then she's like ragging on her older sister, being like, this bitch is such a practical cunt. And I'm
Yeah.
like, you know what? I think I'm on her side, to be honest.
No, as an older sister, those bitches need to get their just
Yes. Yeah. But that's
so
fine. That's fine. So we started with Fourth Wing, and then Iron
yeah.
Flame. Onyx Storm
Yeah.
is coming out. That was just like an amazing book series, just so well written. And like,
Mm-hmm.
frankly, tried to like read a bunch of other like fantasy, romanticy type books.
And nothing
And,
hits right
yeah,
after
nothing
that one.
hits
Yeah, you get in a real
quite the same.
book slump right after.
Yeah. And so because I was in that book slump, I immediately went into ACOTAR.
Mm-hmm.
Um, And then I was just like, by the time
Yeah.
that I was done reading all of them, and then the one about her older sister, what was her name?
Nesta.
Nesta. Yes. By the time I was done reading Nesta's book, I was like, you know what? I'm kind of done reading Sarah J. Maas for a while. I'm going to give
Yeah.
that a break. And then I started reading some other ones.
But Nesta's book was like fire.
It was. That one was, I think, such a good one because it gives you a third party perspective on the other characters, right?
Yeah. Also, that book is a really good perspective on trauma and depression, I think.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
So it was interesting to see evolution of characters, I think.
Yeah. Yeah.
Yeah.
And I'm on like Book Talk now.
Mm-hmm.
And like people are talking about like, why would she walk down those stairs every day just to walk right back up? Like that doesn't, and I'm like, you've never had anything bad
Yeah.
happen to you in your life.
Sorry, nothing bad's ever happened to you. Yeah.
Yeah. Oh,
This is
because
awkward.
it's
Yeah.
like a literal physical metaphor for
Mm-hmm.
how people spiral
Yeah.
and have
And
to
you
like
have to
pull
keep
themselves up.
climbing
Yeah.
it back up out of the well.
Yes. Yes.
Yeah, literally.
Um, and like,
And also addiction.
yes,
Yeah.
loneliness. You
Yeah.
are surrounded by people, but you're just completely like empty. You're completely like
Yeah.
alone, right? Like, because nobody understands and nobody wants to understand. And the fact that everyone was like, oh, well, we gave her a month.
Right.
We're over
Weird.
it now.
But like, okay, move on. Have you tried just not being sad?
Yeah. Yeah. Have you tried not, just ignoring
Stopping.
everything
Knock
and
it the fuck off.
yeah. Yeah. Like,
Yeah. It's a good one.
yeah, it was a really good one. And the fact that like I thought that it did a good job like looking at Rhysand as not the main character.
Yeah, and how different he is with everyone else versus how he is with Farah.
Yes. Which might I remind everyone, he's still only known Farah for like 2 years,
Yeah.
which in forever immortality time is like 2 minutes.
Right. And just a
So
reminder, he is in fact an asshole with everyone else. And everyone's like, I can't believe he'd behave that way. And I'm like, you can't?
but
Like, it's
he's
pretty well known he's a big, huge jerk.
yeah, for like 1,000 years. What do you
There's a reason that everyone was terrified of him. He
yeah.
only loves her.
Yeah. Right. And even his friends are still like scared of him. Like,
Yeah, there's a reason that he's in charge.
yeah. Like they still behold him.
Yeah.
Like,
Well, except for Amryn. But
well, she's not of this plane. And that's like totally fair. Yeah. Yeah. She's like the only one that's like scarier, which is fair.
yeah.
But yeah. And so then I
Took a
went
break.
and took a break from that one, went into a bunch of other books. Quicksilver, just not the same.
No, it was her first ever book too to write.
That was, you know what? If this was my first ever book, there's no way that I could probably write, a book like as good as that one.
Sometimes the book talk hype does not like live up is the thing.
Yes.
And I am still intrigued enough to see where it goes. But people were like, I think he's better than Xaden. And I was like, first of all, do not shit talk my man. Okay. First of all,
nobody is better than Xaden. Nobody's what?
Excuse me? My house, my chair, my woman. Like, get out of here.
Yes. Like Xaden. Right. And like to me, a close second is like Cassian. Riz is not even Reese, whatever. He's not even in my top 5. To be honest.
And I need to read Azriel's book too because I'm here just the quiet ones. You got to watch them.
Of course, of course. But you know, when Cassian told Nesta to hang on to the headboard, you
I'm
know,
saying.
hang on, like, okay,
I'm
you got
saying.
me. Look at me. I'm just like going crazy over here. That one was a good one. That was a good one. Not gonna lie. Not gonna lie.
Yeah.
Yeah. Can't wait. Iron Onyx Storm is coming out in
Yeah, I'm
a couple
going
weeks.
to Houston to see my friend Maggie. She works at a bookstore, and I'm going to go to the midnight release of it at her
Aw,
bookstore. Yeah, I'm excited.
that is exciting. I'm probably just gonna get on the library wait list and wait like 32 weeks for it to come
Yeah,
to
that seems fair.
my position.
I will perhaps loan you my copy when I finish it.
Is it a digital copy?
And no, it's hard copy. Well, I don't think that I can loan you my digital copy, can
Probably not. That makes
I? Yeah,
sense.
because Jeff Bezos is the devil incarnate.
Okay, so breaking the timeline
Mm-hmm.
of chronological events. Did you see that the other day everyone's like Kindles started locking them out?
No. If that
Yes.
happens to me, I will go visit him like the ghost of Christmas present.
Yeah, it was like that week before Christmas and New Year's where time means nothing. And so everyone's like at home just trying to read on their Kindle and, you know, Kindles
Yeah.
in the
I read
Kindle
that.
Unlimited store. And it
Yeah.
locked everyone out. It locked you out of your like Amazon account. When people finally were like getting back in, their books were missing.
That did not happen to me. And Jeff Bezos better count himself lucky.
I know.
Because I read a ton because I had to work, but work was pretty slow because offices were closed, right?
Yeah.
Oh.
Yeah. And like Amazon is literally built on the backs of these suburban housewives. Like you cannot take away their only sliver of enjoyment in life.
Insane.
Anyway, I think that got resolved pretty quickly. So
good. My friend Erin was telling me that some of her Audible books, like she had pre-ordered a couple and they took their credit like they usually do, and then it just never delivered the books. And I was like, I would have freaked the fuck out and called them immediately.
Yes. I mean, I just like you wouldn't just be like, oh, well, I paid this money at the store and walk out without your physical item. Like the digital items are no different, in my opinion. Like I gave you.
Yeah. And then like a different one, like it said it expired and just deleted itself from our library. Yeah, like
the way I would be on customer, I don't do calls, but the way that I would be chatting up that customer bot.
Yeah, like that's not how it works. I paid for this.
Exactly.
Yeah.
All right. Let's see. What else do we miss up? Well,
some of us got the thing like 2.5 seconds ago, so
my bad. I probably could have said this to you when I made it like 2 weeks ago, but I did not.
I thought I missed an email, and then I was like, no, I didn't.
No, you didn't. I don't know why you would question yourself when you know me.
Okay, so the TikTok drama, that's what we talked about in our last episode.
Okay, so there's even more TikTok drama. So there was that whole carpet in the backyard thing that turned out to be potentially nothing, but also potentially something.
Very sus, for sure. Like somebody probably buried something and moved it, in my opinion.
Yeah.
For sure.
Also, she was like haunted.
Yeah, that was weird too. I don't know, but people are such liars.
It is hard, but
the dog's alerted.
Dogs don't want, well, some dogs for treats do falsely alert sometimes, but I trust dogs.
Yeah, more than people for sure.
100%. All right, so there's that. Turned out to be nothing. The woman who had that 50-part tell-all. Who TF did I marry?
Yeah, that was wild. It was so crazy, and now I can barely remember what actually happened, so sorry that I can't be the authority on that.
I was hoping you would be, because I did not.
It
was too many parts. It was
too many. Right. You can't even like finish a sentence to find out how many books there are in a series.
Or that the third one, it hasn't been released yet.
Fair enough.
So obviously I can't. But I think he just kind of like was cheating on her, spending their money, like.
Well, and he was pretending. I remember he was pretending to be rich, and he didn't even have a job. Yeah, he was basically just like made up this whole lifestyle. Yeah, like people are fucking crazy. Reasons I will remain single until I die.
Yes, I mean, I don't know. This doesn't surprise me, because men from the beginning of time, have always done this.
So yeah, like my gosh. I was going through like looking over my friend's shoulder today while we were going through a coworker's hinge, and like men are so insane. Like one of them was like, "What are you into?" and it just said sex. Like, sir.
Ugh. Okay, well, enjoy your party of one then.
Yeah, like, do you think that's a draw? Do you think that that is winning you? You know, in Hinge, you can do like a voice prompt or whatever and like record. Maybe you don't know because you've been married like a million years.
Hey, I have single friends. I know things.
You know things.
I know things. You could do a little voice prompt.
Anyway, so it was like, I want you to wear tight clothes and like all of this stuff. And I was like, ew, this was a whole different man. Like those were two separate men. Like the dating pool is shallow, and these men have like ignored the safety warnings and dove in head first.
Yeah. Mm-hmm. That is an apt metaphor. Like,
yeah, it's so gross. So gross.
I saw something the other day that was like, as a woman, there's this whole like men's loneliness epidemic that's happening, right? Mm-hmm. And a woman was like, but I fail to see how me as a woman that this is my problem.
It's not my problem. I don't care. Men are like, are you talking to other people? I'm like, fuck no. Like, I barely like you.
Right.
And like, I mean that with every atom in my being. Barely. I barely like you. Right. Like, you're fighting against my couch right now. The inside is much more attractive than having to go outside and expend energy for me to try to be here, because it is so crappy out there. Like they think they just need to be nice, and I'm like, that is literally the expectation I have for just humans. Like, right. That's not a big deal, my guy.
No. Like, your added presence in my life is not, it's not appealing.
Like, you don't have to just be nice. You have to be fucking fantastic, because my life is awesome.
Right. I would have to want you in my life. Like, I do not need you in my life, especially now that I'm like a little bit older. You know, I'm in my 30s. I've got my 2 kids. I've got an established career. Like, I have all my friends, hobbies, everything that fulfills my life. And like, I think it was an opener for my husband when a few years ago he was like, well, if I die young, you know, if I die young enough, you can still get remarried. And I was like,
fucking gross.
Why would I do that? I was like, like, I would never marry again. He was like, no, I would want you to be happy. And I was like, no. I don't think you understand. I would be happy. I would be happy. You are the only one for me. And I mean that in a very selfish way. There will be no I
actually mean that husband. As a little bit as a slur. Yeah. No.
And like, you know, there's not really a way to not take offense to that.
No, like, I can't tell you enough. If we hadn't met when I was very young.
Yeah. Like, you are the only husband I will ever have. You are the only man I will ever live with, you know, as my partner. You are the only man, me.
Yeah. The only reason I still go on dates is because I still maybe want another baby.
Girl, you should have done the twin method. One and done.
I mean, you act like you did that on purpose. Like, you're bragging right now, but I know you didn't do it on purpose, bitch.
You also know I was pretty miserable there for the first few years.
You don't actually recommend that method.
I do not. In fact, I cannot tell you the number of people that have come up to me over the years and been like, I wish I would have had twins. And I have to look at them like they've suddenly sprouted the second head they wish that they had birthed, you know, with their singleton off to the side, and been like, no, shut you don't. Like, I don't think, you know how you're saying, oh, this is so hard, I don't know how you did it with twins. Well, guess what? If you had twins, you would have no choice.
No, that's me as a single mom who'd be like, I don't know how you do it. And I'm like, well, nobody told me that I could just quit, so I guess I just did it.
Well, you know, you can't really leave them in that little black box at the fire station after a certain, they don't fit there anymore.
Yeah.
They know our address. You know,
Brinley is like really small. I think I could like.
She's not small, but she is very flexible.
That's right. Just a thought.
I think the problem now is that they know how to find their way home. So
that's fair. Well, I'm just going to file that for later.
All right, let's see what else happened this year. I think we're still just in the summer. Oh, the summer I definitely feel belongs to Chapel Roan and Sabrina Carpenter.
Yes, and I love them both, and
Oh
I don't
my
even
God,
care.
absolutely. And Chapel is from Willard, Missouri, which nobody knows where the fuck that is because it's a really small town.
Oh my God, I know where that is. Do you know why?
Oh my God, because of the wedding.
Yes.
Oh no.
What a horrifying coincidence.
Oh dear.
Well, things that
Indeed.
we never have to encounter again.
And true. True. And Chapel made sure of that for herself as well.
And good for her. I'm very proud.
Yes, very proud indeed. Let's see what else we got here. All right, moving on towards the fall. Oh God. Okay. This is where things start to get a little hairy. Yeah. Just downhill. So, do you want the good things or do you want the good news or the bad news?
Well, let's just go with the bad.
Okay, great. All right. So, I guess we can start with that insane election cycle because what the fuck?
I just need to say something about voting. If you do not vote, you are part of the problem. Like, I cannot stress enough how not voting is making a larger problem than voting against yourself almost. The problem with not voting is that I understand that it feels like your vote's not making a difference. But voting in local elections is where you start to see changes in your community. So I live in Oklahoma, which people here proudly say is the reddest state in the nation. But here where I live, we elected our first Black mayor. And that is wild because we have a large Black population in the town that I live in. This should not be our first Black mayor. So, by people getting out and voting, now we have proper representation that we should. So, I can't illustrate enough how important it is if you, especially women, because of the way that things are going, you have to register to vote and get out and vote. Get out and vote in every election. Educate yourself about what you're voting for. Don't like listen to your family or what you've always voted for, like what they've always voted for. Like make sure you understand what you're voting for. And I mean, I'm sure we can God, Nicole, what's that website that has like the breakdowns of the different
demographics?
No, not the demographics. That will break down the state questions and things for you.
Well, oh, yeah. It's like a. Sorry, the election is over, so now my brain's like, you don't have to think about that.
My brain just fried whenever Donald Trump got reelected.
Yes.
But it'll come to us and we will say it by the end of the episode. But you can read unbiased on both sides and it'll tell you what you're voting for and what yes or no. And just make sure you understand because it's just so important. And you never have to tell anybody what you vote for. The ballot is secret.
Lie. Nobody
you can
know.
lie. You can go in there and you can just vote and nobody will know. And, I go in, my daughter, I teach her how to vote. She puts my ballot in for me and we, that's like a thing that we do. So it's just so important to make that happen because it wasn't very long ago that women were not allowed to vote. So
no, yeah, absolutely.
I just feel very passionate about that. And the horror I feel living in my state right now is large, but I am very proud of my town for coming out and electing a Black mayor. So there's that.
Yes. No, I 100% agree that, you definitely feel like a drop in the bucket when it comes to like national elections, but the change that we can impart is on the local level. And unlike trickle down economics, local politicians often tend to rise, right? If they're doing well. So then they can become your state representation and then they can become your congressional or Senate representation. And those people do make a difference.
Yeah, it like matters. Well, and my state politicians have been messing up my state for years. Like they have been systematically dismantling public education. Like they have recently passed a bill where I want to say it's every subject, but definitely some subjects have to teach directly out of the Bible. Like that's insane. And they like funded directly like they made a stipulation by which Bibles they had to purchase where
they're Trump Bibles, aren't they?
Yeah, like it had to be the Bible that Donald Trump was selling. So basically, they're using state tax dollars to fund a political campaign, which should be illegal. But I don't see, you know what I mean? Like,
yeah,
it just is bad. So that's why like local, state elections matter.
absolutely. Absolutely. Those local elections, the school board elections, like
Yeah.
I never cared about what was happening in the school board races. Even the first like few years that we lived in San Francisco, the kids were going to school and I just wasn't tuned in because there was so much happening at the state and federal level that it wasn't until a couple of years ago that the school board actually ended up getting recalled because we went into the pandemic and instead of properly allocating funding to children that really needed it, they were like, oh, well, we should focus on renaming some of these schools. And it's like, that's not the problem.
Feels like
right
we
now.
have some bigger issues like right now.
Yeah. And so they ended up basically spending the district into a deficit. The state now has some oversight into the budget. They've given the city a deadline to like whip our shit together. Otherwise, control of this city's school district is going to go up to the state. And do I believe that the state of California is going to do a better job at knowing this community's needs better than this community? Absolutely not. Yeah. So I'm just like, if I had been paying attention even 5 years sooner,
Yeah. And well, similarly, which is insane because I can't, like, our Secretary of Education right now is
fuck him.
A monster. Okay.
Fuck
it's
him.
Ryan Walters.
Yes, it is.
Yeah. And he is a monster, like complete like villain, like basically a cartoon villain. Like you cannot make up the shit that he does. But he started attacking Tulsa public schools. And then suddenly he found like a legitimate thing where somebody was actually, what's it called? Embezzling millions, like, I don't know. And maybe it wasn't quite $1 million, but it was like hundreds of thousands of dollars. And I'm just like, what kind of monster embezzles hundreds of thousands of dollars from public school in Oklahoma, of all places where it's chronically underfunded? I think that public school everywhere is underfunded, but especially here. Like we are 49th in education in the United States.
I wasn't going to say it. I feel like it's,
like you're a monster.
But I think it's because, I don't know, because like public education has been ripped to shreds for years. It's been villainized so much over the years that this is like one of those things where people are voting against their own interests. Who the fuck do you think is going to be qualified to take care of you when you go to the hospital?
So bad. Well, and then like people are, it's like an endless cycle because now people don't understand what they're voting for either.
Right. That's on purpose.
Yeah, it is completely on purpose. I'm like, what do you mean? Or like the vaccines, when like the COVID vaccines came out, our governor was like being completely insane, like going out in public, all of this stuff. But, he and his family were like vaccinated.
Of course they were.
And like his kids don't, like they don't even go to school here.
Right. It's rules for thee, but not for me. Like people in power will always be protected.
Yeah.
They will always have a back door and they will tell you absolutely not for you, period.
Yeah, it is. The things that people in power here do are absolutely heinous and I hate it. So I would just encourage everyone to vote at every single election.
Absolutely. So I know that things have cooled down a little bit, but there are still a lot of people out there who very much feel they have like adopted the FAFO mindset, this like motto, fuck around, find out. And now we're in the finding out part of where people are saying, I voted so that, they can take Obamacare away. They can leave Affordable Care Act because I do rely on that, but they can take Obamacare away.
Turns out, babes, that's the same thing because the Republican PR machine is crazy. Like they have turned the Affordable Care Act into Obamacare and people don't realize those are two separate things.
No, they think they're two separate things, but they're the same thing.
Yeah, they think they're two separate things. Yeah. But like the thing that the Democrats do is they don't embrace that. Like they could have been like, that's right, it is Obamacare. We did that.
Yeah, they absolutely could. The Democrats are...
They're always trying to be the nice...
Yeah. Like they are trying to be like the ethical, moral, and like the humble, like, oh yeah, we just do these things because it's good. Like, we all need to do that, but we all need to start being the weaponized, incompetent household roommate that says, look, I did the dishes. I did the dishes. You need to look. And
they need
even
to
though
start
they
being the
didn't,
husbands.
I was trying to be, I was trying to be nice. Where,
I don't have a husband, so I don't have to.
The Democrats do need to embrace the promotion of all the things that they do, that they get passed, that maybe even taking a page out of the Republicans' playbook and start really pointing out the shit that Republicans are not doing, or I don't know, even
or
making
are
shit
doing.
up. Yeah,
like trying to cut Social Security.
I told my mom about that the other day.
Yeah.
And she was like puzzled. And I was like, girl, I was like, what are you going to do?
Yeah.
She's kind of looked at me and I was like, all right, well, I don't know what to tell you. But alas.
Speaking of FAFO, so I work in healthcare, and there was a large kerfluffle when the UHC CEO was gunned down before their shareholders meeting in New York. And they didn't know what was going on, so they actually walked around his body and went ahead and started the meeting on time.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Of course I did. When you said UHC for a second, actually I almost forgot about that. And I immediately thought about when they had that gigantic data breach earlier in the year. But then they just didn't disclose it.
Right. Or how about when they were just automatically denying all emergency room visits, so you had to appeal them?
Yes, because that's what you have in a time of emergency, is time for appeals.
Yeah, they just were like, no medical necessity, and you had to appeal them before they would pay them.
Or where they employed those bots
to automatic,
they just automatically declined the majority of the things that they got.
Yeah, it takes them so long to pay us at work. Like, they'll eventually pay us, but they automatically decline almost every claim, and we have to send every record we have. It is a nightmare.
And the general public, I think, was not terribly upset that the CEO was assassinated.
Yeah, they were not overly sympathetic. And then now the alleged attacker has been charged with terrorism, which, however you feel about the actual murder, is wild to me, because we have elementary school kids getting gunned down in their classroom, and I don't think any of those shooters have been charged with terrorism.
No. And basically, they're labeling him as a terrorist because he made rich people afraid for like one day. And that was unacceptable. But regular people can be shot and killed and terrorized every single day, and that's fine.
Yeah, which is, I don't think there's a word to describe how angry that makes me. Maybe it's that our transition to oligarchy is finally complete with this last election, plus him getting charged with terrorism. Is that what it is?
I think, yeah. It feels like the final nails are going in for sure.
Yeah.
Did you also see that the NYPD has come out with a statement saying anyone who has expressed sympathy for Luigi Mangione will be put on their watch list?
No, that's also insane. I also saw where they said they found his fingerprints on the sidewalk or something, and I was like, okay, girl, be so fucking for real. You found his fingerprints on a New York sidewalk? Like, okay.
Listen, even if nobody walked that crime scene from the time of that, right? Concrete is ridged.
Yeah.
Like, it is not like a solid surface. Quinn is appalled. He is.
Just a reminder that cops can and will lie to you.
Yes, right. Like, concrete is a porous material. It has a lot of different ridges. If it was perfectly smooth, then it just wouldn't be suitable for outdoor use.
Right. Have you ever fallen and busted your ass because somebody made concrete too smooth? Because I have.
Yes, right. That's not a thing. It's not a thing. So thanks, NYPD, for nothing. Which it boggles my mind, because do they not also use health insurance?
I believe that there's a song that covers this about burning things. Some of those who burn crosses are the something about forces.
I don't know.
Oh my God. You
know.
know me and music. Here's a fun fact about me. I don't listen to a ton of music because I have the synesthesia.
Girl, that sounds like a rave, like a full-time like that would be a Spotify wrapped rave happening in my mind.
Fucking terrible.
But anyway, so here we are, oligarchy. I know.
Rage Against the Machine, Killing in the Name.
Yeah, that's a good one, obviously. Anyway, I'm basically in the FAFO mindset for now.
I can't work up sympathy for insurance companies. I pay so much a month and they cover nothing.
Correct. Yeah, I just so I really don't care. Like, I'm not condoning like anything. I'm just neutral. I'm neutral.
Yeah, there's a lot more sympathetic victims dying every day, like children in Palestine.
Right, like literal newborn babies freezing to death because their camps are being bombed.
Yeah, or like the doctors that just got kidnapped.
Yeah, I can't really, there's a lot of bad shit happening in the world, and I really cannot muster any grains for.
Perhaps I needed pre-authorization.
It declined. I'm gonna go ahead and
denied.
Yeah. Oops. But yeah, so let's see. What else has happened since then? God, was that before or after Thanksgiving? I don't even know.
I don't know. Time is soup.
Let's see. We drove back to Kansas for Thanksgiving this year instead of for Christmas, hoping that the weather would be nicer.
It was.
It was nicer. I keep saying that she's 16 years old, but I think she's actually 17. We just did the math the other day. She's actually 17. She's almost 18 years old.
I don't know why you keep trying to put a number on her. She is actually immortal.
She's fucking Rusand is what she is. She's an asshole and she's older than shit. I cannot.
Out.
Well, the last dog was like 35 or something. And I think that I'm just not willing. I'm not willing.
No,
I will be. No. I have a better chance of retiring than having my dog beat that record. But I think that actually might have been debunked because they may or may not have lied about it. Because like, there's no way a lab mix is living to 35.
No, their hips wouldn't make it.
And it looked like a fat dog too. So I'm like, there's not. It's like that dog is like 6.
But Maddie, though, she might make it. I mean, let the people know that you took her to the vet to have her assessed. And the vet was like, no, she's great.
I cannot. And like, we literally have all of the medical records, like when we adopted her and like taking her to the vet every single year. This is the same fucking dog I've had since college. Okay, so it has stripped Bobby of the world's oldest dog title. So he was 31 and 165 days old. To be fair, we also don't have Maddie's exact date of birth. We just know that she was like an adolescent when we got her.
So like less than a year old, you think?
Oh yeah, for sure. She was probably no older than 6 months when we got her.
Oh, okay.
Actually, they told us she might have only been like, they said like 4 months. So we counted, I think, back like 3 or 4 months and just made her birthday like St. Patrick's Day.
Oh, okay.
To make it easy to remember. But it looks like the world record longest living dog since Bobby lost his title goes to Bluey, an Australian cattle dog who lived to be 29 years and 5 months old, died in 1939.
Also sounds sketch, if I'm being honest.
Yeah, like, let's be 29.
I need like real fucking records or I don't believe it.
Right. Because Maddie is almost 18 and she is fucking decrepit.
I don't believe you. I bet she's great.
Oh my God. So then we get, first of all, she was on death's fucking doorstep when we arrived in Kansas. Okay. Like, could not lift her head. And I was like, this is it. Luckily, we're on a farm.
Don't get us canceled.
I'm just saying. Listen, I'm not trying to go, what's the name of that woman who shot her dog at a construction site?
Oh my God. She's probably on our new cabinet. You can just look that up.
Woman who shot dog at construction site and wrote a book about it. Oh yeah. Kristi Noem of South Dakota.
Oh my God. I think she is actually on our new cabinet.
She is.
my fucking God. I was genuinely joking.
I'm not trying to go all Christy Gnome on us, but it wasn't that Maddie was like Gidget and just a fucking menace because I didn't train her. Maddie is literally popping out to tell you about tales from the crypts. I guess had I put Maddie out of her misery, I could also be the next head of Homeland Security, but I'm not. I didn't, so I'm not. She has returned with us.
There's always next year.
I called the vet. I was saying I'd like to schedule Maddie for her annual well dog checkup. And I was like, I'd like to discuss end of life options. So this is after Thanksgiving. She comes. Maddie puts on the fucking show of her life. She's trotting around the house. She's like letting the vet like poke her, prod her, like look at her teeth. The vet's like, oh, the teeth are ground almost all the way down. She's like, the gums are overtaking the nubs. And then as soon as the vet leaves, so the vet basically is like, okay, well, just like give me a call if anything changes. She leaves and Maddie suddenly goes, no, I can't possibly walk around. This is too much for me. I need you to do everything.
Well, how's Coco?
Oh, poor Coco. She had a little allergic reaction to something a few days ago. And so I had to shave her so I could see how bad, because she was like scratching super bad. So we've been giving her Benadryl, putting like a hot spot spray on her. She has medicated wipes. They are prescription.
You've become so California.
I can't help it. She was miserable.
Only freeze-dried liver for Coco.
You know what? I actually was going to get her some freeze-dried liver treats at the farmer's market, but the stand wasn't there because it was raining. And you know what? You can't have a freeze-dried treat stand at a rainy farmer's market.
No, you're right. Oh my God.
So,
who are you?
She didn't get her freeze-dried livers.
Moment of silence. Okay, I'm done.
But she's doing better now, even though she looks like a fat rat because I shaved her almost all the way down. Like, it is short. She's hanging in there. What else? What else has happened? Christmas happened. New Year's happened. Time is soup.
I had the worst Christmas. Getting home from my trip was horrible, and I'm on the East Coast, and traveling 4 time zones is the literal worst. And I don't care that it's only an hour. I don't know why it fucks me up so bad. I don't know how you do it. Like, when I come see you, I am easy breezy. Like, it's fine for me to be up super early. And I don't have any problem staying up later either.
You also don't sleep.
Well, that's fair. But for whatever fucking reason, traveling 4 an hour is a goddamn nightmare. So our flight is at 7 a.m. And so we have to get to the airport pretty early because the airport is an hour away. And we get there, and just as we're about to board, American Airlines has a system-wide outage, and they have to ground all flights in the entire United States. And I'm like, okay, cool. That's fine. So that's only about an hour delay. No big deal. We're still going to get home, whatever. We're still even going to make our connecting flight in Dallas. Not a big deal. So we get on the plane, and then we're just sitting there. We sit on the plane for a little bit, then we get going. Then we get to Dallas, and we just circle because there's apparently weather in Dallas, and we keep circling Dallas until we run out of fuel, and they divert us to Houston. And then they refuel us in Houston. They never let us get off the plane. They refuel us in Houston, and then we have to sit on the plane for hours and hours. I don't even know how many hours. And it's at least 2 though. And then we finally get to Dallas, and our flights are delayed some more to get to Tulsa. And then we finally get on the plane in Tulsa, and we don't have any pilots. But they don't tell us this until after we've already been sitting on the plane for an hour. So then our pilot finally gets there, and this child is sitting behind me, and he's maybe the twins' age. And he's kicking the back of my seat, and he's an unaccompanied minor. So I can't even turn around and tell his parents to get his shit together. And I am so tired at this point that I'm afraid if I tell him to get his shit together, I'm going to be too mean.
If it's a boy and he's around that age, he probably deserves it.
He probably does, but I don't, because I'm very scared I'm going to be way too over the top. So I'm just sitting there, and our pilots finally show up. I don't even know how long, because I'm just delirious by this point. And then we just sit there some more. And I'm like, what the fuck is happening? Then the pilot comes on and he lets us know that our flight attendants have run out of time. And then I start watching my clock at this time. 2 hours later, and they still haven't found us flight attendants. And I am like, and he lets us know that the gate is open and we can get off the plane if we want to. So I get off the fucking plane, Nicole. I take my kid and I get off the plane and I go down and I'm going to rent a car. So when I travel, I take a debit card and for bonuses, my work gives us Visa gift cards. So I only took those cards with me to travel because I am always scared that I'm going to lose my shit. And Oklahoma doesn't have real IDs, or maybe they do now, but my ID, for whatever reason, I only have my passport, because I actually do think it's a real ID now. I only have my passport now with me. So I have my passport, I have a debit card, and I have a Visa gift card. And I go to rent a car and they won't take my money to let me rent a car. And I'm literally like, pull up my bank account balance and I'm like, I have money to rent a car. Why will you not let me rent a car? And they're like, no, we don't accept this debit card because we have to run a soft credit check, something. And I'm like, I don't understand. And I'm like, what if I call my parents and they'll let me use a credit card? And he's like, no, you have to have the credit card here in person.
So like, what if you just gave them cash?
You can't do that. You have to have a credit card there in person.
That sounds like a scam.
Yeah. Apparently rental cars are in fact a fucking scam. So it's fucking, I think it's like 8 or 9 at night by that time. And I have been up since like 3:45 in the morning. And I am just crying in the DFW airport. But I'm trying not to because Brinley's with me, right? And I take a lift to Tay's house because she has left me a key just in case. But she's at her parents' house because it's Christmas Eve.
Right. Yes.
And I am just bitching in my group chat that I have with my friends from Norman. And my sweet friend's husband comes and drives from Norman to Dallas and comes and gets me. And I take a lift to Denton, which is in North Dallas, so that he doesn't have to drive quite so far. And he comes and drives and gets us. And that is incredible. The nicest thing. Like, I don't even know what I can do to just ever repay them. He didn't even let me pay for gas. Like, he got gas before he told me he was there.
Okay, and for our listeners, how many hours of a drive?
It's probably 2.5 or 3 hours. It is so far. And when I told my parents that he was coming to get me, they were like, I can't believe he's doing that. And I was like, no shit, you guys were going to let me stay the night at the airport in Dallas.
Yeah.
So incredible. Like, I cannot thank them enough. And so we get back to their house. My dad comes and gets me. It's like 1 a.m. And my dad comes, we literally pull off their street into the main street, are maybe 5 minutes from their house, and we get a fucking flat tire.
We gotta sage your life.
I start laughing hysterically.
Because of course you do. Of course.
After my horrific week and then like the day, like I was like, I have been up for so long. Like, why wouldn't we have a flat tire? Like,
obviously.
So that was my trip home from South Carolina.
It's like you were like the mom from Home Alone.
That's what it fucking felt like. Like, I literally said that, and Brinley was like, at least you didn't forget me anywhere. And I was like, you better keep up because I might.
Meanwhile, I think for those who are unfamiliar with this trip, Nikki was in South Carolina with her parents and they made it home.
Yeah.
And still like in time and like still had to like come get you because did they leave after?
They left after me.
Yeah.
Like, we were on the first flight together and then they flew to Oklahoma City and made it home. Their flight left after. We're supposed to leave after mine from DFW to Oklahoma City, but they ended up boarding after me onto the plane and got home at like 6:00.
Yeah.
So fuck off, American Airlines. Yeah. Also, I'm still waiting on my refund.
Well, yeah, whatever the maximum time is that they're allowed to like wait to get back to is they're hoping that you're going to forget about it and just like not ask for one.
Unfucking likely.
Yeah. Yes. Correct. So that was the Christmas.
Yeah. And I'd ordered groceries too, and all of my groceries were just on my porch rent. So there's that.
Well, Was it at least freezing cold outside?
Of course it wasn't. It was 60 degrees.
Of course it was. It was the one nice winter. So like in the Midwest, you do get those odd, like really nice winter days where it's just like, oh, t-shirt weather. And that was one of them.
Yeah, naturally.
Naturally.
But at least it wasn't like freezing cold to change the tire.
The one saving grace.
Yeah. And I should mention my dad has like recently had shoulder surgery.
Yes.
So I was like trying to help him change the tire the whole time. And again, I'm so tired. And so I'm just like, let me help you. And just, I have not changed a tire in so long. Like I have roadside assistance and I will sit my ass on the side of the road for hours if I have to.
Wait, could you call your roadside assistance? Because technically
it was after 1 a.m. and I wanted to just get home. I could like he probably has roadside assistance now too, but we just wanted to go home. So we changed the tire.
Girl.
So basically I'm a badass.
Yes. Might I mention that after you made it home, so like I'm sleeping through this whole ordeal because I go to bed at like 9 p.m. I'm sleeping through this whole ordeal. I text you the following morning. You're like, yeah, your dad came and got you. At some point in the day, you go back to your house to open Christmas morning presents, and you still had matching PJs for you,
yes,
B, and the dog,
and the cat,
and that, my friends, is how together Nikki is compared to the rest of the world.
I think everyone was so scared that I would lose my shit. Like my mom sat and helped me wrap all the presents that did not get wrapped yet, and everybody waited on us to change into our pajamas. It was like 2 p.m.
Wow, they're finally paying attention.
Yeah, the trip was really bad.
It was.
Like everybody is just like, you want the presents wrapped? That's great. Yeah, we'll just wait. It's okay.
I don't know what makes it more bad either, because before you went on the trip, you're like, this is going to be a great trip. And you were just like so hopeful and you were so positive about it. And you're like, you were just like,
how
things are
stupid am I? Yeah. How stupid
and
am I?
And I was like, I don't want to burst your bubble. However, patterns.
Nikki. I just continue to expect people to be as good to me as I am to them, and that's real dumb. Don't do that. No. Yeah. Don't worry, I'm done.
Girl, that's what you said last summer.
Okay, well, this is my once a year. I'm done.
Okay, so they got it in basically at the deadline the end of last year. So this is an entirely new year now.
Okay, so maybe it'll last 2 years this year because I'll be in Kentucky with my friend Brenna seeing Tyler Childers.
Where are you going to go?
But it's Lexington, so it's not like real Kentucky.
I really don't care.
It's okay. I like Tyler Childers enough for the both of us.
That's wonderful for you. I feel like I've been out of the country music scene for so long that I just...
Yeah. He's super liberal and amazing.
I saw Brad Paisley. He was like doing like a New Year's Eve performance. And I was like, wow, I haven't thought about that name for like 10 years. At least 5.
I don't like Brad Paisley's music very much.
But he's kind of an okay guy though.
Yeah, he is.
What was her name? Maureen Mavis or something like that?
I don't know who that is.
Marin
Morris.
What?
You were getting there.
I got there eventually. Actually, I didn't. You got there from context clues.
Got it.
But she had a little bit of a skirt snafu over the summer. Did you see that?
I did, yeah. Yes. That was funny. And she took it so gracefully.
She did. She was like, she even posted a video of the skirt like later, like in her closet, being like, this is where the like trauma all started. Yeah, she was such a good sport about that. But yeah, she's the best. In case you guys don't know about that, just like go on TikTok, search up, what's her name again?
Marin Morris.
Thank you. The Marin Morris
skirt was see-through.
No, it was a denim skirt. It had the high slit.
That's what it was, and she didn't have underwear. Somebody else's skirt was see-through.
How do you not know your skirt is see-through? I understand the slit because the denim and like shifts around.
Yeah, that's what it was. I think it was because the lights were so bright, and obviously your house lights aren't that bright.
I see. I thought it was like one of those like mesh skirts that like everyone's wearing, and you wear the granny panties under them. I don't know why that was ever a trend.
Listen, B and I went to Ulta earlier, and she just got some like clear gloss, and I was like, wow, everything really is back.
Everything. I thought you.
Sorry,
I'm
trying to keep Quinn from knocking everything.
It was Quinn,
back.
but I thought that you had made this hand gesture, like just subtly, like off to like down here. I was like, "Are you wearing a mitten?"
Yes.
And you're like, "Wrap it."
No, not ever. I missed you so much.
I missed you too. All right. And 2 more pieces of good news to wrap up 2025. The Eras Tour wrapped up this year. Shit. 2024. To wrap up 2024. I would also like to wrap up 2025. It's been 3 days. We had like 10 terrorist attacks.
My God, yeah. That's horrible.
Eras Tour finally wrapped up December 8th after 18 months. She did 149 shows and 51 cities. The Chiefs won a fucking Super Bowl in that time.
Yeah, that's crazy. They're probably going to win again too.
Maybe.
I would love it if the Bucks won, but they're not going to.
Or the
Tampa Bay, but Baker Mayfield.
Oh, the Buccaneers. Baker Mayfield.
Right. Yes, Baker Mayfield is their quarterback.
Yeah, I forgot about him, the OU guy.
Good job. I'm proud of you.
Okay, I have not even told you about this yet for our 2 listeners. We live in California. We no longer live in Kansas City, but my son is still a Kansas City Chiefs fan, obviously, because when he became aware that sports existed was around the time that the Chiefs started getting good. So he's a lifelong Chiefs fan. Anyway, one of our friends, a lot of our friends in this area are 49ers fans. We had a little Christmas. Sawyer hates the 49ers. I remain
as
agnostic.
He should.
Yeah.
They're gross.
Our very first Super Bowl out in the Bay was 49ers Chiefs, which was incredible for us as Kansas City people living in the Bay. We're like, oh no, what do we do? But anyway, so we had a little family get together pre-Christmas. One of the kids had organized like a Secret Santa, and so all the kids were doing Secret Santa. It was super duper cute. One of our friends walked in and he handed my husband a black bag. He's like, oh, what is this? And Adam takes the thing out of the bag, and it is a Travis Kelce signed breast cancer awareness helmet.
That's
NFL helmet.
Incredible.
And Adam was like, wow, this is so great. And like called the kids over. And then he tries to hand it back to Frank. And Frank is like, nah, man, you guys, this is for you guys. And the crowd goes wild. Sawyer is wearing this thing on the house, and it has this reflective visor, and it's just the coolest looking thing. And I literally have not seen the helmet since that night because Sawyer has squirreled it away in his room for safekeeping. It is his newest treasured possession. And we were like, can we like give you some money for this? Like, first of all, how did you get this? I guess he was just doing an online sport, you know, because it's like fantasy football season, blah, blah, blah. So you like heard this drawing or something, and he just like won.
That's incredible. I'm like the jealousy I feel.
Well, I feel like it's so poetic that a 49ers fan would win this Chiefs helmet. And so then he shows his wife, and she's like, great, get it out of here. Get it out of this house. And they're like, we know just the people.
No, that's so great for Sawyer. I'm so happy for him.
Yeah, he's really excited about it.
Sorry,
so I'll have to send you a picture.
Need to show you this.
Oh, look at him.
He's just a baby.
He's just a baby. Baby. Speaking of Kansas City Chiefs, I'm going to continue on this tangent. Have you seen the Holiday Touchdown Chiefs Love Story movie?
No, I did not watch it.
Neither have I, but I'm interested. I just need to find it.
While my grandmother was dying, my mom's mom passed away this year too. We were watching a lot of Hallmark movies, so I've been a little Hallmark movie triggered. So I didn't watch any this year after she passed. She died on November 1st. So, but it was nice. I felt like that her little facility got the Hallmark Channel because she did very much enjoy those.
That's like a nice little story to come out of that event.
Yeah.
Fellow mom podcaster, Kylie Kelsey. Welcome to the club.
Yeah, we're the same, obviously.
Well, did you see the latest episode that she just dropped? She has guest Drew Afwalo, and they're talking about being tall.
I did see that. I haven't listened to it yet though, but I'm excited because I think Drew and I are the same height. Kelsey is actually taller than me.
Yeah, she's like, what? Is she 6 foot or is she like 5'10"?
I thought she was 6'1" or 2", but I might be wrong. If she's only 5'10", then I'm taller than her.
She's pretty tall.
Yeah, I thought she was more than 6 feet tall.
You know what? She might be. Might be because she said that her dad is like 6'8".
Yeah. So I'm 5'11". So this is funny. We had this discussion.
Fucking giant.
We had this discussion at Christmas. My cousins asked me how tall I am, and I was like, I don't know, like like 5'10ish, and they're like, be fucking for real. And I was like, okay, I'm like 5'11 and a half. And they were like, why would you not just say that? And I was like, because when you say it, you sound like a toddler when you're like adding the half, because they're like, we really thought you were 6 feet tall. And I was like, yeah, but like nobody ever actually believes that, because nobody wants to believe that you're a woman and you're almost 6 feet tall. And so I just kind of like guesstimate. Like, and they're like, okay, well, we believe you because you're standing beside us. And my cousin Bryson, who's like the only one that's actually taller than me, was like, yeah, I can tell that you're almost 6 feet tall. I was like, I definitely never add that half when I'm talking to people, because again, you're like a 5-year-old who's like, I'm 5 3/4 years old.
Girl, you should just say it. You should just say it. You should say the 6 feet, because like, I don't know. I mean, I just think that you've earned it. You're a tall girly. You can reach all the things.
That's well, I mean, men round up, right?
Girl, they round up inches.
Like from 5'9". Like, I'm
yes,
6 feet.
The amount of comments on that one clip of them talking about how tall they are women in the comments saying, well, I must be 6 foot, because I always thought I was 5'10", and then I'll meet up with a 6 foot guy and we're looking eye to eye.
Yeah, no, facts. I started putting that I was 5'8" on dating apps just to be a dick. Like, oh, that's weird. I'm like 4 inches taller than you. Awkward. Oh, I thought you were 6'2".
Them. No, I am 5'8". Gaslight them.
You should get that checked out.
Mm-hmm. I am nowhere near that tall. I'm very sad. I have several different heights of step ladders in my home.
I forget that people are not as tall as me. And so I just put things away where I can reach them. And then other people cannot reach them. And they're like, can you, like when I'm at my grandma's for Christmas or whatever, I'm just getting things. And she's like, oh, I guess you don't need a step ladder. And I'm like, I do not, in fact.
So Grace, my daughter, you know how you can like measure them at like a certain age, and then you double it, and that's like their projected like adult height or whatever. Mm-hmm. I think for boys it's like you measure them at 2, and at girls you measure them at like 3. Anyway,
swapped. But yeah.
Oh, is it? Okay. Well, anyway, she's supposed to be like 6 foot tall.
Mm-hmm. Yeah,
and
she's
I'm
tall.
like, good, because I'm very short and I have trouble reaching the pickles that I want at the store. It's difficult to be short sometimes. And, I do worry that like, because we live in a very Asian populated area, and Asians are not exactly known for our height, right? So I was kind of concerned that like maybe she would be picked on for being so tall. But then my husband is very much like, no, you know what? This is the best thing for her, because it is an asshole filter. Like, if a guy is an asshole, they automatically just like won't date her, because they're already so insecure with their own height that we don't even have to worry about those dick holes. We just have to worry about the confident dick holes.
That's hilarious. Yeah, I know somebody who is struggling a little bit with dating somebody who's like, I think an inch shorter than her. And I was like, if I had an issue with that, I would literally never date, because almost everyone is shorter than me at all times. Like, I don't know. Like, height has never been a thing that's like bothered me one way or the other, because I'm just so tall and I come from a small town. And my whole family are from small towns because I'm from Oklahoma. I'm like, no, I don't know. I don't understand. So,
well, it's actually kind of funny because Grace has this like group of girls that she still hangs out with from elementary school. I say that like they're 50. They're 1 year removed from elementary.
Like they're in their sixth grade.
Yeah, they're in the 6th grade. So it's just literally just like her current friends. And it's a group of girls. There's six of them, I think. Well, anyway, 3 of them are so incredibly tall for their age, and then the other 2 are like average height. But when you take a group photo, it looks like there's like a more than a foot difference.
Well, that's like Brinley's really tall for her age, right?
Yeah.
So she's like kind of medium height for her school, and I'm like,
yes, yeah. It's so strange, because you look at the growth chart, like we'll go into the doctor and we'll get like the weight and height, and they're like, okay, well, Grace is 99th percentile for height. I'm like, that's she's not even the tallest one in her class. Like, what do you?
Yeah, no, Brinley's best friend is like 3 inches taller than her. Like, it's crazy.
Wild.
I'm like, what? Brinley's like, I think I'm pretty short actually. And I'm like, I promise you're not. Like,
Guarantee
what?
it. According to these national growth charts.
Yeah, you're like, she's 5'5".
Yeah. I refuse to acknowledge Grace's height.
It's classified.
It's beyond mine.
That's
So
hilarious.
therefore I am in denial. Mhm. But Grace she let this funny little fact slip that they have to run a mile every Monday in PE, and they get to like choose a buddy.
B would die. That's so funny. B hates running more than anyone athletic I know. She hates it.
She looks like she could be a runner.
No, absolutely not. Yeah. She would seriously die.
Yes. So this is Grace's tactic. She has made friends with one of the shortest girls in the class.
She doesn't have to run very fast.
Yes, correct. So she doesn't have to run at all. Meanwhile, this poor little shorty is probably like sprinting.
B is taking the opposite tactic where she gets it over as fast as possible. So she stretches her legs out really far.
Good for you, girl.
Nice.
Yeah. Sawyer, at least, he's finally made friends with like, some other boys that are just as about like, when you get into like large groups, you can finally find people that are kind of like
your vibe.
Yeah, your vibe. And so he's found a group of boys that are his vibe, and they all just kind of like treat it as like a race, and they try to like beat their own personal times. They also try to beat each other. So I'm like, yeah, good job. Go for it, you little competitive little things.
Yeah. I think the issue is at Brinley's school that she might be the most athletic one.
It's just, yeah. V is like, she is athletic though. Like, she went to nationals.
Yeah, right? She is, but she's not a runner, and it makes me laugh a lot because she will do a lot to get out of running. Like, even they run tiny little laps to warm up at gymnastics, and she does a lot to get out of it.
They do run laps in volleyball.
Yeah.
To like warm up, and also as like punishment if you don't call the ball, right? Like, they've been doing this for enough years that you should always be calling the ball. And so I'm like still one of the few parents that like goes and like sits and waits, because I'm not gonna like go home for 30 minutes and then come back. Like, sit there.
Oh yeah, it's only 30 minutes. Yeah, that's
well, it's an hour, but by the time
I
like
come back,
yeah. So I'm like just gonna stay there. And I'm like, no cutting corners. I see you.
Oh yeah, we talk a lot about conditioning because she talks about how people cheat. I'm like, honestly, B, like that only hurts yourself, especially in gymnastics, because you're doing conditioning to get stronger so you can complete skills. So she doesn't cheat, but she will die before she runs a lap. And I'm like, you are like, the farthest you ever have to run is down the vault thing. Like, relax.
But that's important. That's important. You need to like really like, have like good form when you're running down to vault.
Yeah, and she works on that. But like, if you ever ask her to like run a lap, she's like, and I'm like, relax.
Yes.
Like, you have a six-pack, you could probably handle it.
You can do it, yeah. I have signed Grace up for track and field in the spring against her will, because there's like no tryouts. Like, anyone is welcome to just join the track and field team. And I do feel like she would do good at some of like the field events.
Yeah. Oh yeah, like shot put and things.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Like, listen, Grace is, and she has always been from the time that she was, both her and Sawyer, from the time that they were babies. You know how you pick up a baby and you're like, wee? No, my kids are they're like filled with bricks. They're solid children. They have never been like hollow little flighty bird. No, they've always been fucking muscle. So I'm like, yes, you could be doing the long jump. You can be doing the shot put, the throwing shit. I don't know. But like, I feel like you'd be good at that. And you know what? Running will not kill you.
I feel like if B could if she ever goes to a school that has like track and field, maybe she could do like the pole vault. She might be good.
Oh my gosh, she'd be great at hurdles as well.
The running.
I mean, minus the running part. I mean, like, she wouldn't even really have to like jump.
She is pretty fast at sprinting though, so like short distance maybe.
Yeah, she could do it. She could totally do it. So signed her up, and Sawyer has also signed up. It's not his favorite thing, but he understands that it's like good conditioning to like keep in shape. for like basketball and also flag football.
Oh, for track and field. You signed up for track and field too. Yeah. He might start to like it.
Maybe.
I don't care.
Just, he's just not very fast, and he never has been because I don't know, he's always been like a short, kind of stocky kid, just like a little bulldog, not really so much like a antelope. And he's
starting to get lanky though.
Yeah, he's starting to stretch out and get taller and stuff, but he never really like picked up that fast runner
thing. But they'll teach him how to run maybe.
Oh God, that's so true. That's an excellent point. Okay, I feel like we didn't even like skim over everything that happened in 2024.
Too much.
But that was
the year of the dumpster fire.
Yeah, legit. In fact, next week we'll be talking about 2025.
Woo.
One
last baby kitty view.
Quinn. All right. Until next week.
Sounds good. Love you.
Bye.
Bye.